It's good to be back. Like I told you, we have an extremely fantastic guest here, and they have become film. We have films. Today we're going to be talking about films, among other things. But coming up in a few days is the Ndiva Women Film Festival that's going to be taking place at the Alliance Française. And everybody should be there, man. It's great. We're going to be talking to one of the organizers of the festival. Put your hands together, show some love for Aseye Tamakloe. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Whoa! I remember I met you sometime last year.
Yeah.
On a TV program, and you were there to plug this show.
Exactly.
This festival. And I said, how come you have not been on my show? And you
on
said, don't worry, next year I'll be there. Here you are.
And
Show some love, man. So this is a film festival, Women's Film Festival. Tell me a little bit about.
So Ndiva Women's Film Festival, really, it's an event aimed at giving or creating a platform for films by, for, and about women.
Films by, for, and
about women. So I'll explain. So we have 3 categories. Films by women. So it doesn't matter the genre. The fact that it's the woman who's made the film.
Okay.
Probably wrote it, directed it, you know. Then we have films by women about women. So here, women are the central characters. Or a woman is the central character, but the film is still made by a woman.
Okay.
About.
And the first category is, again, before I lose track, films
by women.
By women.
So it doesn't
be on
matter
anything.
Any subject
Okay,
matter.
okay.
Anything.
Okay.
But the fact that it's a woman who is spearheading.
Okay. Okay.
And then the second is films by women about women.
Okay.
And there are a number of films like that, you know.
Okay.
So take, for example, thankfully she's doing a sequel or a second, but perfect picture like this. So made by a woman about women.
Okay. So that fits perfectly in there.
Perfectly in there.
Okay.
So it can be documentaries, animation, whatsoever, you know. Then the third is films by men about women.
Oh, okay.
Reason being that, one, in the conversation to advance women's empowerment in the film space and also in general, I think that we should not leave the men out. I mean, of course, other people have proposed that as well, that it shouldn't be just totally about the women, but men should also be given a voice in this matter, but also be pulled along, because if it's just about us and eventually we leave the men behind, we will still not achieve what we want to achieve, because they'll be ignorant, you know. But then again, so if you track especially with African cinema historically, most of the films that were made in the beginning, and even till now, let's not go too much to commercial film, but you know, a lot of the filmmakers, male filmmakers, were actually feminists, interestingly.
Really?
Some men made,
so their themes were...
Some men's first film, La Noire d'Oeil, the central character was a woman. Molade was about circumcision, you know. Fat Kine was also about women. And if you track it down, you look at all of them, you know.
So the men were doing films...
About women.
About women.
Where they discuss patriarchy and its disadvantages and how society treated women and all of that. Interestingly, in African cinema. And so, of course, European cinema or Hollywood is on another tangent. Of course, these days we are trying to, even in Hollywood, we are now trying to fight a lot more for equality. But it's existed on our continent longer. So I do not want to do an all women's. It has to. We are engaging everybody. Hence the last category of films by men about women.
Films by men about
women, but positive stories.
Wow. So what's showing this year? This well, not this. It's a matter of a few days.
Yes. So what we did was that there was a call for films, and we had different entries from all over the world. When we first started, it was just for women of African descent. But by the second year, we had emails saying that the space for women in cinema is already small. So why don't we, but in the beginning, we thought that the people of Black heritage, women of Black heritage were a minority in the minority, because women are already minority in film. But we decided to open it up. So we have films from Belgium, Germany, Uganda, South Africa, Egypt. We have everywhere.
Wow.
Ethiopia, everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell me more about how did it start? The Ndiva Women Film Festival.
So
whose idea?
it's my idea. So I'm the founder and festival director.
And it's a fantastic idea. How did you come up with this? I mean,
because I'm a filmmaker by profession. I'm a trained editor, and I have seen what happens in the industry, especially where women are concerned. We do get the job sometimes, yes, but do we get the right recognition? No. How many women are even allowed the space to do what the Shirleys and Juliet and co are all doing, Leila and co are all doing? Very few, you know. The Veronica Kwashis did set the pace. I mean, even before Veronica Kwashi, there was another Veronica, I can't remember her last name. But, you know, it's almost a handful, and everywhere, even in Hollywood.
Is it because it's a structural thing that works against women, or you don't have enough women getting into it anyway?
For starters, I think it works both ways. Because when I went to film school, the men were more than the boys were more than the girls. There's some Boy Scouts, something that happens in that space. Film has a certain patriarchal side to it that we are still trying to break. Even till date in Hollywood, male characters playing lead get paid more than female characters playing lead. I'm using Hollywood because that's what we all, you know, measure things with. But beyond also that, the fact that there are many stories about women, the way women see the world and experience it, that do not really get told. But also that they are there, but there isn't access. So there are women who make films, but the access is not there. Because until you go to certain festivals, you would not encounter some of these films, because not all of them are really commercial. And so I thought about, why don't we create a space where women can exhibit their work, can network, can form collaboration and corporations, and also celebrate each other. So that's where it started from. Also because I teach, and I still see the disparity in the numbers that are taken. And also the fact that there's very little that students know every time about women filmmakers. So it's part of my course structure that I talk about women in film. And so I just thought that, you know what, why don't we create something? And also, there are few of those festivals on the continent. There are a number of them in the world, but they do not outdo the normal ones that still give a lot more space to. But last year I had the Berlinale had a lot more women making entries than before.
The name Ndiva comes from?
Oxymoronic. So it's actually an Ewe word. Ndiva. Morning has come. But I thought that it works for a diva something, so I just run with it. So yes. But that's the origin. So it's Ndiva, morning has come. But when you do it in Ndiva, it sounds like and diva. So
let's go back a little bit to you personally and how you got interested. You are an editor. You teach editing at NAFTI.
Yes.
Oh, I'm a pioneer of NAFTI, you know.
I know.
You know, but I think even back
it's
then,
an open secret.
It's an open secret. I think even back then in our class,
very few women were in your class. Yes.
Yawa.
Yes.
She was the only one, I think, until I think Veronica came.
You see.
But yeah, even then, they were in that. Yeah. Okay. I see. So for you, how did your interest in film start? How do you end up getting into editing?
When I was much younger, I always thought, I wondered what it was that happened in the box, you know. I was that child that sat by the mirror and wanted to fall asleep, seeing myself falling asleep, which was not possible. And so I fall asleep, and I have not seen myself fall asleep. And so that's how the interest, but I've always loved things about the arts. And then, but the magic of film, you always wondered what was there. Then when I became much older and had the option to go to film school, because I actually didn't buy any of the other forms. And there was a time I think my dad heard about NAFTI and asked, would you want to?
Go to NAFTI.
Yeah, but before then, when I was in junior secondary school, I had written a poem that had won the Global Commonwealth Royal Essay Commonwealth Award for my age group. So I was already on that path. And then I came to film school, and then I realized that editors had a certain power. And I'm borrowing a quote from a famous film about editing called Cutting Edge. And it said that in the documentary film, the editors prevent their directors from committing suicide. And also the fact that we wield so much power, we decide what the world should see and how we want the world to see it. And I love that bit of the power thing, so yeah. But of course, the fact that we are second storytellers in the filmmaking process, and I love that. So hence the sticking to editing.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll be in my office and I'll be hearing my editor. One line, I hear it 1 million times. Like, the boys. Are you going to get tired? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How do you get interested in that? Where do you get the patience from?
It's absurd. Yeah, because the patience you need as an editor is out of this world. You know, but eventually the satisfaction comes when it's like building a house. So you start laying the bricks, you know, I mean the foundation. I think I'm jumping one thing after the other, but trying to build a house, so put something together. By the time it's reaching lentil level, you're beginning to feel okay. But by the time it's done and it's showing, and you know the magic, the fact that A happened somewhere, but now A is at the place of Z and Z is at A. And people are wondering, wow, and then you're like, oh, then the satisfaction. So beyond everything, the satisfaction takes all the pain away because nobody can ever pay you for the time that you put in editing. I don't think we ever get paid that money, but we get by. We get paid well, you know, but for the time and pain and patience. But we are still the ones who are preventing you people from committing suicide.
Editing is really, you know, like they say, a very good editor can make a very lousy film look great, and vice versa.
Exactly.
A great film can be made lousy if you don't get the editor. Okay, so now give us the dates again for the show, the film.
So the festival runs for 4 days.
Okay. From
October 30 to November 2nd or November 2. Everything happens at the Alliance Française. We open on October 30 at 5 p.m.
Okay.
And then the rest of the days we run from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. till
10 a.m. Oh, really?
Yeah.
So sort of like rotating?
Yeah. So we have film screenings and panel discussions. One of our panel discussions actually, interestingly, because we had already planned this before all the scandals in recent times that have happened, but we're intending to talk about sexual harassment in the film space. Yes, that's one of our panel discussions, and we're actually teaming with drama queens headed by Kosia Hansen. And also the second one is also talking to women writers. The panel, this time we're talking to women writers because we want them to tell us the whole process of their work, what market is there for them, how they get by, is there any synergy, do people even know they exist, you know, what services is being offered from their side, and really, are they really getting what they deserve to get? So our two discussions are like the Me Too, but in other faces. So that's what we're doing. Then we have the film screenings, and those directors that are available will have their Q&A sessions. Those that are not, people can still ask, because there's a moderator we have who will allow people to ask questions. Most of the time, what happens is, over the years, most of the films we've shown have been very interesting and very thought-provoking, and so very interesting conversations come up. It's a space where we are just opening the space for people to talk about everything and anything. Because, like women, if you study women writers, and especially African women writers, they say so much more than the men. People think the men are saying a lot. The men are taking a lot of things about nationalism and colonialism, all of that, but the women attack the issues in society, the core. They go to all the taboo issues. And so that's what you find.
With this coming series, is there one particular film that you're looking forward to, Or
there are a number of films, interestingly. We have a film from Ethiopia that will be opening. It's Many Loves, very interesting film. Migration, abuse. We have one, Remnants. It's like another. It's our year of return kind of film, where the woman filmmaker is talking. It's a documentary actually, looking at the start of the slave trade then, and what has been left of it today, and how there's still some form of amount of slavery and betrayals going in that space, and she goes back to the central region. Yes.
Who's behind that?
She's actually an old student from NAFTI called Awoboni. Yeah, Hannah Awoboni. We have films from Belgium. We have one from here. There's a film by a guy called Omar, Morning Ride. A woman is raped in her car while she's taking a car, going somewhere, and she falls asleep in the car, and the driver rapes her. Yes. So we have one from Kenya, Subira. We have one from Kenya, where this lady who had undergone female genital circumcision is going to do reconstructive surgery to correct what had been done to her earlier. And she makes a film on herself.
Oh, this is actually a film on herself?
Yes.
About that experience?
About that experience. So we always have really very interesting. Last year, one of our highlights was a film on the public prosecutor of South Africa, who was able to pin down Zuma, and that caused Zuma's impeachment eventually. We had a film on her. Yes, she was about to leave office, but you know, Zuma was her last major case. But she had done so much, and there was a whole, like about 1 hour 20 on her. So those are the kinds of films we have. Yeah.
Wow. And so, folks, this is at the Alliance Française. Yeah. And it's starting on the
30th is the opening, so it's at 5 p.m.
Okay, 5 p.m.
But the 31st, the 1st, the 2nd are all 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay. So are there tickets here, or
no?
Just
The nice thing about Ndiva Women Film Festival, for now, still, is that it's free. It's free because, like we said, we want to make work for, by, and about women accessible and available. And also because it's still a growing cinema culture. So we are courting our audience. So for now, for the last 2 years, this being the third, it's been free.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. But also free because the people like the Alliance Française, the French Embassy, Institut Français, AWDF, African Women Development Fund, the Goethe Institute, Afridox, Rushlake. Afridox is in South Africa, Rushlake is in Germany. They are our partners, and they made this possible. Hence, we can allow
people to go for free. That's fantastic. That's shows some love, man. And finally, your take on the future of women in film in Ghana.
We're taking over.
You're taking over?
You see, a couple of years ago, something interesting happened. And it's been happening for some time now. If you take your time to study the terrain, these days, of course, the economics of the day, I mean, we all know that the film industry, there are few hitches here and there. Not because people can't make stories, but I think it's more of the economics of the day, beyond structural and all of that. And also technology. So how are we going to keep our work safe, you know? But you realize that when Shirley Layla started making films again after Veronica Kwashi and Verena Kujo, there was a birth of women film producers. But before, one of the foremost women film producers we had in Ghana was Hajia Mezongo. I don't know if you've ever heard her name.
I think I have.
Yes, Hajia Mezongo was there before Abdul Salam. I mean, she was. Wow. Yeah. Wow. If you remember this film, Jagbele, Hajia Mezongo produced Jagbele. Okay. That's how far back, yeah. And then in the new era, we have a lot of female actresses becoming producers. So I know Yvonne Nelson has produced a couple of films. Inelzu has produced a lot of Lucky, she's called Lucky, so I can't remember her last name, has produced a number of films. So yes, Salma. So there was a time that, I think about 2 years ago, that particular year, I think 2017 or 2016, there was this rise, and they are still doing it. Juliet Ibrahim and they've become the producers. Not maybe we don't have as many directors, but yes. But even now, you're getting a lot more ladies coming to study cinematography, directing. So the future is bright.
The future is bright.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Put your hands together. And finally, Ndiva Women's Film Festival.
It's a mouthful, eh?
And it's on soon. And please make your way to the Alliance Française. And it's for free. And it's amazing the kind of films you're talking about. And I'm trusting that we all go there in full vim and vigor to watch films about women.
For women.
For women.
By women.
By women. Okay.
For
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We look forward to a very successful festival.
Thank you for having me. I'm very grateful.
My pleasure. One more time. We'll be right back.
The KSM Show.